I'm going to call to order the May 5th, 2025 meeting of the Evesham Municipal Utilities Authority. Please read the opening statement.
With adequate and electronic notice of this meeting pursuant to both the Open Public Meetings Act and Emergency Remote Meeting Protocol advised in Local Finance Notice 2020-21 has been given by the Office Manager of the Evesham Municipal Utilities Authority on April 3rd, 2025 in the following manner. Number one, email and written notice to the Burlington County Times and Courier Post. Number two, posting written notice on the official Evesham EMUA website. Number three, following written notice with the clerks of Evesham and Medford. Written notice was posted at the authority's business address located at 100 Truck Road, Marlton, New Jersey, 08053 on April 3rd, 2025. This statement shall be entered into the minutes of this meeting.
Okay, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Chris, please call the roll.
Mr. Wilmot, not present. Mr. Druss, not present. Mr. Kipnis,
I'm here.
Mr. Sweeney, not present. Mr. Schmidt,
Here.
Mr. Tenza,
Here.
Mr. Waters.
Here. And Lou, we're glad you're not wearing a Mets shirt.
Sorry, I should have changed.
All right, can I have a motion to approve the meeting minutes from the April 2nd, 2025 Evesham Municipal Authority, Utilities Authority meeting?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I'm sorry, I gotta do a roll call right now, sorry, I'm just.
Definitely.
I gotta get my head back in the game here. Okay, I'm sorry.
Mr. Kipnis,
Aye.
Mr. Schmidt.
Aye.
Mr. Tenza.
Aye.
Mr. Waters.
Abstain, I wasn't here. Public comments, I'd seen no one from the public. Financial Resolution 2025-42, payment of bills. Can I have a motion, please?
So moved. We'll second it.
Second.
Anyone have any questions about the bill list?
Yeah, I have just a couple of general items. If I can make the the Edmonds GovTech, and I didn't go back and look, so call me lazy. Is that a monthly, quarterly, or an annual charge on page 8?
That's an annual charge.
Okay, great. Good. Perfect. And you had we are paying the costs for the lead tests for the school district. Do in light of what's going on, with the school district, the Evesham Township School District, we don't bill them back for that, do we?
Yes, we did bill them just for what the exact costs were to us.
Yeah,
Okay, so we do. Okay,
yeah, we're facilitating it for them. We're getting the supplies and stuff like that. We're only billing for what we purchased for them.
okay, all right. And along those lines, there was the bill for chemicals, and I was just wondering, are they all domestically sourced?
I honestly couldn't tell you that. I would assume so. Chlorine is produced in North Jersey in Kearney. I would imagine they're all domestically sourced. Maybe not all the components to it may not be, but I know that they are, the chemicals we do use are manufactured here in the United States.
Okay, that's good to know. And continuing on that, in the way of, do we have any kind of inventory on our equipment that we may or may not have to replace, and what or may not be the impacts that coming up? I know it's a really tough question, especially when companies like Ford are refusing to put out any any projections for the year because of the uncertainty of tariffs. I just wonder how or if the MUA might be impacted.
We haven't been impacted yet. We've had one vendor talk about potential tariffs, and they were for motors, but it has not impacted us financially yet.
Okay. Thanks a lot. I appreciate the input.
Isn't that covered under the contract that we have for leasing?
So things that are under contract already, yeah, unless they do consider a force majeure, if I'm correct, right, Kelly? Things that are under contract, yes, will be covered at the contract price unless they, they do a force majeure on us, which then we would have to, raise the, the cost, so to speak. Like I said, right now, nothing has went up. Other than it was just one vendor that said, hey, the price of these things look like they're gonna go up because of tariffs coming. But we have not been hit with anything yet.
Anything else?
That's it.
Okay, anyone else have any questions?
No, I had contacted the executive director earlier, questions, he answered them for me.
Okay. Good. Please call the roll.
Mr. Kipnis,
Aye.
Mr. Schmidt,
Aye.
Mr. Tenza,
Aye.
Mr. Waters.
Aye. Resolution 2025-43, refunds, credits, and cancellations. Can I have a motion, please?
So moved. Second.
Anyone have any questions about this agenda item?
No.
Seeing none, please call the roll.
Mr. Kipnis,
Aye.
Mr. Schmidt.
Aye.
Mr. Tenza,
Aye.
Mr. Waters.
Aye. Resolution 2025-44, authorizing appropriation to Township of Evesham not to exceed 5% of the authority's annual operating budget for FY26. Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, any questions on this one? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Mr. Kipnis,
Aye.
Mr. Schmidt.
Aye.
Mr. Tenza.
Aye.
Mr. Waters.
Aye. Resolution 2025-47, authorizing authority to enter into a shared service agreement with the Township of Evesham for road maintenance, leaf collection, limited plumbing, training to acquire a commercial driver's license, and other services. Can I have a motion, please?
So moved. Second.
All right, who's got this one? Is there anything we need to?
You wanna take it, Jim?
Yeah, it's just with the township, we, are available if they need extra help for leaf collection and the, commercial driver's license. If they go out to a contractor or somebody else, it'd be thousands of dollars. So with our guys being trained, they come over and we can train them and works out good for everybody.
Okay, does anybody have any questions for Jim?
Negative.
Please call the roll.
Mr. Kipnis,
Aye.
Mr. Schmidt.
Aye.
Mr. Tenza.
Aye.
Mr. Waters.
Aye. Resolution 2025-48, authorizing consent to proposed water quality management plan amendment entitled WQMP Amendment Application Easborough Downs Park. Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
So the Eastboro Downs, the township is putting in concession stands and they need water and wastewater services, which we can accommodate for them. But what happened is when they deemed it green acres, you have to submit a water quality management plan. And when they did that, they said there would be no use of water or any use for wastewater in the future. Well, the future's now, and they want to get these utility services in there, so they have to modify the water quality plan with the county. Essentially, we're saying that we can accept that we're going to allow them to, receive their disposal and give them water supply. They have to just change that management plan through the county, but we have to give them approval saying that it's okay.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions for Jeff on this? Yeah. Lance.
Do the Burlington County Commissioners have to sign off on that as well?
I believe so. They have to they have to go through DEP as well.
Okay.
And basically change the management plan, and also the county saying, hey, we want to modify the management plan to accept the waste stream and the receiving waters.
Okay. Thanks, Jeff.
It's not your typical green acres where they just leave it. They got green acres and they want to use it as a playground, which is part of green acres. So they just want to have some facilities in there for the people that partake in them opportunities that will be there.
Okay.
Any other questions? Seeing that, please call the roll.
Mr. Kipnis,
Aye.
Mr. Schmidt.
Aye.
Mr. Tenza.
Aye.
Mr. Lawrence.
Aye. Resolution 2025-49, authorizing to reestablish cooperative pricing system identifier number 277 EMRMIF, known as Emergency Maintenance, Repairs, and Modifications of Infrastructure Facilities. Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
Oh, who's got that one?
I can take this one. So this is a pricing system that was established 5 years ago, in which the authorities, a lead agency, the township is a participant. And when we receive bids for contracts for emergency repairs, the township can purchase off of that contract. The pricing system has expired and the township would like to continue participation, so this will reestablish that same pricing system. There's no change in how it works or anything like that. It's just, it'll be a new period for 5 years.
Okay.
This is a new contract or an extension?
It's, well, the other one, it's the same one, so they call it a reestablishment because the other one lapsed.
All right,
So
thank you.
this one will reestablish, but it's the exact same number, how it works, and then. We currently have a contract for emergency repairs, and then each time we go out to bid and get a new contract, the township could use that contract under this system.
Just guarantees the township the same prices that we went out for.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Mr. Kipnis.
Aye.
Schmidt.
Aye.
Mr. Tenza.
Aye.
Mr. Lawrence.
Aye. Resolution 2025-50, ratifying the purchase of 2 R900 gateway installation collectors from Rio Supply Incorporated through North Jersey Cooperative Pricing System in an amount not to exceed $76,252. Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Well, second.
Jim?
Yes, to me, these are the collectors for the water meter program. We have, and we, I think we got up to 9 we can get or something Mike said, but right now we're just trying it piece by piece to see how many we actually need. It's cutting the time down for the reads, more accurate. And only have to have one guy go back and collect some data that does get missed.
Okay, does anybody have any questions for Jim on this?
No.
Seeing none, please call the roll.
Mr. Kipnis.
Aye. Excuse me, aye.
Mr. Schmidt.
Aye.
Mr. Tenza.
Aye.
Mr. Lawrence.
Aye. Resolution 2025-51, authorizing award of contract through Sourcewell National Cooperative Purchasing Program to Enterprise Fleet Management Incorporated in an amount not to exceed $400,000 to lease, deliver, and for the lease, delivery, and maintenance of 6 vehicles: 4 Ford Explorers, 1 Ford Escape, 1 Chevrolet Silverado, and aftermarket equipment for a 5-year term. Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
Okay.
This is just part of our ongoing vehicle lease program with Enterprise. This is more vehicles added to our fleet as we tend to change out our entire fleet. Again, getting to the end game where the authority recoups well over $600,000. Commissioner Schmidt and Dross had questions about Enterprise and some of their feelings towards it. We did have a meeting with Olivia a couple of days after that. And one of the pertaining questions that Mr. Dross has was, why don't we just purchase our vehicles and buy an extended warranty afterwards? Her response to that is that you're not taking into consideration any maintenance costs you might have, the cost of the extended warranty itself and the depreciation. So in her mind, it's not a really good viable option for us at this point. And so the clarification was, we still, in our opinion, in my opinion, we still want to stay the course with Enterprise, again, hoping to get that end zone goal of $660,000 plus or minus in that range. Again, this is just a continued effort to change out our entire fleet to a lease program.
Okay, any questions for Jeff?
Yeah, Jeff, were these the vehicles that we had postponed a couple of months ago?
That is correct. Yes.
Okay, it looks like we got all American. Wasn't that the issue from before?
Yes.
Yeah, those Explorers were originally Highlanders when we found out.
Okay. Yeah, no.
I don't know if Lou, Commissioner was heard us. Did you hear me, Lou?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
Okay, any other questions?
Yeah, I'll just reiterate what I said during that meeting. Yes, they're American owned and it goes to an American company's bottom line, but with all the back and forth and with all the parts coming from all over, it's not truly American made when you look at it. I mean, that's part of the reason that the price of cars are going to go up if these tariffs go into effect. So I'm not that concerned about it, but certainly in favor of continuing with the lease program.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Mr. Kipnis,
Aye.
Mr. Schmidt.
Aye.
Mr. Tenza.
Aye.
Mr. Waters.
Aye. Resolution 2025-55, authorizing advertisement for Lincoln Drive Water Tower rehabilitation. Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
This is just the authorization for us to advertise, to get potential contractors to come in and paint and rehab all of the suggestions that our inspection had brought out. So we want to paint the inside, the wet area and the outside. Hopefully we can start that in the fall.
Okay. Anyone have any questions for Jeff?
Do we have an in-house estimate what's going to cost?
Yeah, I believe Wayne had put it was not Wayne, it was Tina.
Yeah, one call, yeah, about 30.
Tina.
Yeah, it's about 3 million, 2.8.
Okay.
All right, please call the roll.
Mr. Kipnis,
Aye.
Mr. Schmidt.
Aye.
Mr. Tenza.
Aye.
Mr. Waters.
Aye. Executive Director's Report. Jeff?
All righty, happy to report that we've had no violations for a month again for April. However, we had our continued water main breaks. We've had two, one on Country Farms and one in the Pine Grove section, both repaired by the EMUA. We've had some discolored water complaints along Route 70. That's attributed to the road work being done by the contractors for the state for the Route 70 widening program. We also had a discolored water in the Ravenscliff area, but the homeowner really couldn't, he really didn't explain himself. He had low pressure, odor in water, he had all kinds of stuff. When we went there, we really didn't see anything wrong. He felt there was a continued issue that maybe to contact the plumber. I do have some impending or potential monitoring violations coming to us from the DEP. And two of these violations are for 6 well this year and 8 well last year. The monitoring violation is because 6 well was out of service for an extended period of time, almost 4 years. And we had just had catastrophic failure with 8 well that's looking to take us a year plus. So we're liable to get one next year. Right now it's just for 6 well, but we're liable to get one for 8 well. That's just because we have to sample once a year out of each well, and we couldn't sample because they weren't running. So we're liable to get that. However, when we did test for PFAS sampling in well 6, when it finally came back online, it did pass. We have no PFAS in any of our internal wells. So we're PFAS free, non-detect for all Evesham source water. With that being said, we're looking to possibly get a monitoring violation for, it's a tier 3. It's a tier 3 violation for PFAS, and it's 2 PFAS elements. One is perfluorohexyl acid, and the other one is perfluorotonic acid. With the state wants all authorities and entities to test for PFAS chemicals in the water. It's called UCMR5. Every few years, the state comes out with a whole list of new contaminants they want to look for. So these 2 PFAS contaminants, both are like firefighting, stain resistant products. They're linked to them. Right now, they're not considered a regulated compound. So it's an unregulated compound. We tested the interconnect. That's the interconnect from Mount Laurel. They feed us, Evesham. And when we tested that interconnect, we came up with these 2 compounds. So that's considered a tier 3 notification. We have to notify every resident in Evesham which we will do legally through the CCR report. We'll have a blurb on the CCR report that, hey, these two compounds were found in the source water coming from Mount Laurel. Although they are unregulated this time, we're just letting you know this is a PFAS compound that was found. So that is a potential violation on our end. But again, all source water from Evesham is non-detect. A lighter note, WEFTEC is shortly coming up again at the end of September, going into October, September 23rd, September 27th through October 1st. It will be in Chicago. We've seen the last few years doing this on a pinch, and Chris gets bogged down trying to find us a place. So if you guys are who's interested, I'd like to get your names in the hat, and then we can pick 2 folks and we can get the reservations taken care of. In the past week, we supplied water for the Mayor's Wellness Festival. We also will be supplying water for the Relay for Life on May 30th. We're also working with the township to install a yard hydrant at Eastboro Downs. The town council is thinking about putting a water slide up there during their farm festival, or their what is it, the
Farm market.
farm market, my bad. So if indeed their GIF will allow them to do that, we'll hook up the little yard hydrant. It costs the EMUA about $200. We'll hook that up and we'll be able to have water for that and for the kids or whoever wants to partake in that yard hydrant. This year, we're sending 3 up-and-coming employees to the AEA cohort. That'll be Ryan Miller, Bobby Veith, and Kevin Ackers. They will be starting June 4th. And as always, we have a crew vigorously. We have 3 crews vigorously working around the clock to do the lead inventory for the township. Again, I ask for those folks that may be watching live stream that we need everybody's help to get in and identify lead services. We need to get in their homes to identify the pipe material. The faster we can get that done, the faster we can start about, okay, how are we going to repair these and finance them? Again, I don't anticipate any more than 50 right now. Our numbers are very low. But we need to do the inventory. Our guys are working. We got 3 crews pretty much going every day, trying to get this done by the end of May. So we can run a software program to identify the rest, if we can get that done before the next round of mailers we have to send out to all the folks that we unidentified services, which, you know, a lot of it comes down to participation with the community, the people, our residents. We need the most participation we can. That's all I have.
Okay. Engineers report, Wayne.
Yes, thank you. And I apologize for not being able to join in person, but I'll go through my report. Southside water tank, nothing new there. Route 70 water main, the contractor just has to locate and, with the help of the authority, locate and then tie the individual services into the new water main. That's the only work left. And then there's a resolution.
Resolution 2025-45, approval of change order number 2 in the amount of $40,000 for JVS Industrial and Commercial for Route 70 water main replacement. Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
And this is basically just a change in quantities. There was an additional hydrant with a wet tap that was needed. So we picked those up on this contract. It's the hydrant by McDonald's there, and that was moved so it won't be run over anymore.
So is that just one hydrant
One hydrant and a wet tap, yes.
for $40,000?
Yeah, that was his bid pricing on that one.
For one hydrant, $40,000.
Yes.
That doesn't seem right.
Well, you know, that was the contract pricing, and we had to have this done. I mean, it's just to get it out of the way so that it wasn't run over anymore. And the authority did a lot of work just to enable this to be moved. The authority's crews were out there for a whole night and day to get this resolved. But this is just bid items that we added. It's not a change that he presented after the fact. It's not a price he presented after the fact.
Is that a typical price for this?
No, it was high. It sometimes contractors throw numbers at different things, and in this case, he got a good hit on it.
Can we rebid this? George wants to know.
No, that it's this.
Wayne, it just seems extremely high for that.
Yeah, and I'm not I don't know. It does, and I'll check if it hasn't been done yet. I will see if we can get it taken off.
You say you wanted a motion to table it, George?
Yeah.
There's a second?
Second.
All right. Wait, we're gonna have a vote
Yeah.
until we can get it back, because I agree
Okay.
with a lot of money with those.
Yeah, I'll make calls on this tomorrow morning.
Okay,
Thank you, Wayne.
thank you. Chris, you wanna call the roll?
So this is a.
Motion to table.
Motion to table resolution 545. Yes, Mr. Kipnis,
Aye.
Mr. Schmidt,
Aye.
Mr. Tenza,
Aye.
Mr. Waters.
Aye.
Nothing new on the Route 70 sewer main. It's going to come off maintenance bond next month, and it seems like everything's okay, but we'll be doing an inspection on that. Elmwood Storage Building, they are about 99% done on that. And there are some change orders that add some work out there, and this work will have to be done after the changes are approved.
Do these as a block, or should we do them individually?
Separate.
Separate, okay. Resolution 2025-52, approval of change order number 3 in the amount of $11,004.26 to NACOM Companies Incorporated for Elmwood Storage Building. Can I have a motion, please?
So move.
Second.
This one is some additional paving that the authority requested to be performed while he was out there with his paving equipment. So it's just improving the pavement that you have out there.
Any questions? Okay, please call the roll.
Mr. Kipnis,
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Mr. Tenza.
Aye.
Mr. Waters.
Aye. Resolution 2025-56, approval of change order number 4 in the amount of $58,101.95 to NACOM Companies Incorporated for Elmwood Storage Building. Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, so this one has two components. The first one I discussed a little bit last month, where the heaters were designed to be 8 feet off the ground, but once the storage units were selected, it was found that they needed to be raised up to allow for more storage for the authority's storage units. They were raised to 14 feet, at which time the code wouldn't allow the exhaust to go straight through the wall as anticipated. So we had to have a change to make the exhaust go up through the ceiling and the roof. That's that one. And then the second component is the installation of a fence, a man gate, and a loading gate on the roof of the office inside the storage building. It's mostly warehouse, but there's a small office with about an 8-foot ceiling in it. And above that, it was originally planned to just use that for storage using a forklift. But the authority would like to be able to bring things up by hand. And so therefore, the stairs, the fence, and the gates.
Anybody have any questions for Wayne? Please call the roll.
Mr. Kipnis,
Aye.
Mr. Schmidt,
Aye.
Mr. Tenza.
Aye.
Mr. Waters.
Aye.
Okay. Well 6, the building is finished and the re-drill is basically finished. We'll work with Schultes to iron out any other issues with the well pump. We'll continue to work with them. The UV disinfection system, that is progressing nicely, probably going to extend through the summer. We're still waiting for the main components of the UV equipment to be delivered to the site. And we have a small change order on that one.
Resolution 2025-46. Approval of change order number 2, amount of $4,406.80 to Clyde N. Latimer and Son Construction Company Incorporated for the Elmwood wastewater treatment plant UV disinfection. Have a motion.
So moved.
We'll second.
Oh, yes, this is while the contractor was installing electrical conduits, he ran into an unmarked conduit, which created some issues. He had to change the location of the conduit that they were installing, do some extra work to bring it up to code, to properly prevent any digging up of the conduit and interference between the two different conduits. So there's a roughly $4,000 change order to do that.
Does anybody have any questions for Wayne? Please call the roll.
Mr. Kipnis,
Aye.
Mr. Schmidt,
Aye.
Mr. Tenza,
Aye.
Mr. Warner.
Aye.
The next two water main projects, Heritage Village, Cardinal Court, Sweet Gum, and Cottonwood, they are 99% done. The contractor has done all of his concrete repairs. He's done his paving, and we're just going to go out and make sure there aren't any punch list items to be corrected on that latest work that was performed.
Anybody have any questions for Wayne? I don't know.
Sinelli Farms lift station, we're waiting for our DEP permit to come in, then we can go out to bid. Elmwood and Woodstream SCADA upgrades, they are about 99% complete. We're going to just check and make sure everything's okay on that before recommending final payment. Elmwood generator replacement, still have a few more months in design on that one. Kings Grant Drive water main replacement, our survey has been done, and we are in design on that. And then we have a proposal for well 5, a modified proposal.
Motion to approve a proposal from Richard A. Olimo Associates in the amount of $35,390 to prepare specifications, advertising, and receiving bids, administering the construction contracts, and providing construction observation services. Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
Yeah, we had been approved to develop specifications and monitor the contract for wells 5 and 8, but well 8 is now totally out of service. It cannot be redeveloped. We have spent some money already on well 8, so I've included the costs that are sunk into our initial work in our proposal, and then basically cut the rest in half, because we only have one well, to come up with this number.
Any questions for Wayne? Please call the roll.
Mr. Kipnis,
Aye.
Mr. Schmidt,
Aye.
Mr. Tenza,
Aye.
Mr. Waters.
Aye.
Okay, and then we have the well 8 replacement. That's a much bigger project. We have a motion on that.
Motion to approve a proposal from Richard A. Olimo Associates in the amount of $280,000 to prepare plans and specifications, permitting, advertising, and receiving bids, administering the construction contract, and providing construction observation services. Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
So we will be working with the well driller to find a location for the well on the property. DEP will allow the reconstruction of the well within 100 feet, actually, but we won't even have to go that far. Then there'll be new piping. the possibility of a new pump and motor on that. That will be determined after the well is tested. We'll work with the contractor to test the well and get the allocation permit modified. And oh yeah, the other component of this, since the well does not have chlorine detention main piping installed yet, this is something the DEP will require to be installed since we're modifying the well piping. So there'll be some additional work on designing the piping to make sure we have 5 minutes of chlorine detention time before it hits the first customer.
Any questions for Wayne? Please call the roll.
Mr. Kipnis,
Aye.
Mr. Schmidt,
Aye.
Mr. Tenzo,
Aye.
Mr. Waters.
Aye.
Okay, I think that's it, right? Oh, the developments. I'm sorry, I'm juggling in a space I'm not used to. Oh, there it is. Okay. Okay, so we have the Pine Grove Pump Station rehab. Survey is complete on that, and we've started the design. And then we have some developments.
Resolution 2025-53, release of performance bonds for active adult development, 3 executive derived. Can I have a motion?
So move.
Second.
All the work has been finished. Our final inspection showed no punch list items, and they've submitted the as-built drawings.
Any questions for Wayne? Please call the roll.
Mr. Kipnis,
Aye.
Mr. Schmidt,
Aye.
Mr. Tenzo.
Aye.
Mr. Waters.
Aye. Resolution 2025-54, release of performance bonds for Raising Cane's 800 West Route 70. Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
Same here. All the punch list items are done, and the as-built have been submitted.
Any questions for Wayne? Please call the roll.
Mr. Kipnis,
Aye.
Mr. Schmidt,
Aye.
Mr. Tenzo.
Aye.
Mr. Waters.
Aye. Motion to approve S3W3 for the Green Store LLC, 601 Route 70 West, and that's in the former Mexican food factory.
So moved.
Second.
This is a cannabis dispensary.
Oh, no, not another one.
Yes.
Sorry, that's a joke. That's a social media joke.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think they're rivaling pharmacies.
Yeah.
Anybody have any questions for Wayne?
Negative.
Please call the roll.
Mr. Kipnis,
Aye.
Mr. Schmidt,
Aye.
Mr. Tenzo,
Aye.
Mr. Waters.
Aye. Any final questions for Wayne? Seeing none. General Counsel's report. Kelly, do you have anything?
No, thank you.
Hey.
Okay. Public comment, seeing no one from the public, closed public comments. Board comments, let's do, Mike, you want to start?
Yeah, I'll go for it. Thanks to everyone tonight and also to our employees for the work they do each day for us. So, Jeff, I just had a question I should have asked when you were presenting your report. When we have a situation like that with Mount Laurel, like what's Mount Laurel's responsibility where we've detected it coming into our water system?
So this time of the Mount Laurel has an agreement with New Jersey Americans, just like we do, for additional service work. This time of the year, Mount Laurel shuts down all their wells. So as we take about 1 million gallons a day from New Jersey American, they bank our theirs until the commodity price is cheaper because they can afford to do that. So when it's off peak time, that's when they take it off from New Jersey American. We would do the same if we could do that, but we have to tie into Brick Road to feed that part of Route 73, and all that new development was part of that whole Brick Road project years ago. So New Jersey, Mount Laurel banks theirs for a good part of the year, and then they take it all out at once, essentially leaving all their wells off. So when we questioned them, they contributed to where we get the wheeling water from, which would be Willingboro. We can't, without a burden of proof, say who or where this comes from. Again, these compounds, they're just compounds that the EPA is looking to see if they're in the water. Doesn't necessarily mean it's a major threat. Right now, they're seeing what and how much is in there, but it is considered one of the part of the PFAS family. So we reach out to Mount Laurel. Mount Laurel gives us their reasoning. According to it being a tier, or tiers, they go by tiers about the severity of how fast you release this information. We have 1 year to release it.
Okay.
And because we have 1 year, we can include it in our CCR report. So our CCR report will have a blurb about what we found. We can't put blame on anybody because we don't know where or how it came from, but that was Mount Laurel's reasoning. Although I do know when I was told that, we did have that hit, I do know that Mount Laurel does bank and keep their water off for a certain amount of time. So when I was told they did, actually, I knew they did that. I just don't know if they're doing it now, but we notified them. They have to do the same thing. They have to notify every resident, and because it's tier 3, they can do it through the CCR report.
Okay. Okay.
Right now, it's just, there's no, what's the word I'm looking for? There's no limit imposed on what was found. We just found it, if that makes sense.
So when you include that notice to all of our ratepayers, if that report goes out, is that standard language that you
Yes, there's
use?
boilerplate we use from the EPA.
Okay.
So, it comes right off the website. We're gonna use that. We'll explain the whole situation. Even with the well 6 issue, we're gonna put that on the CSR as well, because we weren't able to monitor in that time frame. We get a potential violation of, we haven't gotten one yet. I don't know if we will, but we know the rules, and we totally expect one. Doesn't mean it could be monetary, it may not be, but the situation we had was we couldn't test in our wells, but as soon as we could, we're non-detect. Which, by the way, Kate had just had that done last month, and all of our wells came back non-detect. All of our own source water is non-detect.
Okay, that's good.
And this is the rarity, because 3 out of the 4 quarters we test, we have to test every quarter from our other sources. So we test every quarter from New Jersey American, we test every quarter from Mount Laurel. The 4th quarter came up, the other 3 have traditionally been non-detect.
I mean, I can't only speak for myself, but to Ed and George, you've been on this board a lot longer than I have. This is the first time, I think, that Jeff or Jeff's predecessor ever reported.
Yeah, we haven't reported anything like that.
This was 2 new ones though they had. In previous, they didn't have those,
Right, so as I said, there's
Yeah.
UCMR4, UCMR5, every few years they come out with a new list of these potential compounds. And right now, they put 30 of these compounds out there. And we hit on 2 of them, and the ones we hit on are just monitor, like, okay, you have it, let us know. Doesn't mean anything's bad.
Right.
if they didn't add those 2, there would have been no
Yeah.
detection.
Right. But thank you.
So, UCMR6 will have more compounds, and, as, Laura and I talked today, there's so much legislation going on right now for all these nuances that, everyone's looking at. I don't know the reasoning behind it, but the EPA is looking for all these compounds, the DEP is looking for them all. To me, it's like, how's it affordable? How long, much longer can entities like ours continue to afford to try to knock out these compounds? They just seem to be endless.
Jeff, what I don't understand is how can we get a monetary violation on this if there's no minimum quantity that you should test for? You just test that it's there. It's not the amount that you find, right?
It doesn't necessarily, no, there's no amount, there's no level to say you're above, below, or at. It's just that we're saying that we've seen it. It's an unregulated contaminant is what we found. It's not regulated, so that one we're likely not to get anything on, but because we could not get a sample out of well 6, we may potentially, but because the situation surrounding it, we may not. It all comes down to the enforcer. We just know that the potential is there for them to have a monetary violation. Again, the EMUA has done nothing wrong in this situation. We sampled Mount Laurel, we got a hit, we notified Mount Laurel, and we notified the DEP, and we were following the protocols and regulatory requirements allow us to. But in that regulation, it does say monetary fines could be imposed, but they're gonna see that we've done nothing wrong.
Okay, Mike,
That's it. Thanks, sir.
Lou?
Yeah, thanks for the accommodation tonight. I appreciate it. Thank you to everybody's contribution tonight. It's always welcome, putting up with my questions. And keep up the good work, the team. Jeff, one other thing, are we gonna do anything for Marlton Day?
Yeah, we usually do. Yeah, Chris usually has a table out there. Yeah, we'll be out there. We'll be out there.
Yeah, I think it's the first Sunday in June, I think.
Correct.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, keep up the good work. The team's got things flowing well.
Thank you.
George? Good evening, everyone. As always, I'd like to thank our staff, the operating group, supervision, management, professionals, our commissioners, what they always accomplish in these meetings and during the month also. Thank you all.
All right, and I'd like to thank everyone as well, from the top all the way to the laborers. You guys all did a fantastic job, all our professionals. I appreciate I wasn't here for the budget, but I think you did a great job on the budget, at least I wasn't here for the presentation. George did a wonderful job of running the meeting, and appreciate that. And our next board meeting is Wednesday, June 4th, 2025, right here, 100 Sharp Road, 7 p.m. May I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye. Beautiful.
Thank you, everyone.
Good night, everyone.
Okay, thank you.